Week 1 is in the books here at the Stafford Motor Speedway in Bonssa Tufa. It was full of some memorable and milestone moments, and we'll wrap it up this Friday night because, unfortunately, Mother Nature kind of interfered there in day 2.
What else is new? But hopefully things turn out the right way this Friday night. It's going to be an exciting one. 5 weekly divisions and the Open Modifieds, a lot of action. The Spring Sizzler, the 52nd running, we know the starting lineup, we know where they're starting, we know who the favorites are, but we still got 100 laps to settle it. Teddy Hodgson on the pole, getting that big duel victory a couple weeks ago. Ron Silk won a duel every year, won the Sizzler last year, won the fall final the year before. He's a huge favorite. Guys like Woody Pitkat, who we expect to be really fast, kind of just quiet so far through the duels and such in that A team. So we'll see what they have in store for the 100-lapper. Doug Kobe was pretty good in the 44 in the duel, and so on and so forth. A lot of contenders, a lot to figure out this Friday night.
Eric Goodale, another one of those drivers, quiet in the duel, will have a long way to go come Friday night over 100 laps.
Well, you got pit strategy.
Yep.
You got all those laps to make passes. Anything can happen. You just got to finish them all.
Mention some of those milestone moments. Let's start with our street stock division. Travis Haidar, his 20th win, and that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, ties Kyle Casagrande for the all-time street stock win record, and I think it'll be a matter of time, sooner rather than later, that mark gets broken. Starts off the season with a decisive victory, dominated the feature, had a bit of a challenge from Ryan Waterman, but in the end, Haidar pulled away, looking for his second street stock championship, off to a really good start.
In the limited late models, kind of a milestone moment for Matt Clement, beginning his 10th year here at the Speedway in Napa Victory Lane and still chasing that first track championship.
He's off to a good start.
He is.
With win number 1 in 2024 in race number 1 for the second straight year and his third Sizzler win in 10 years. That 59 team looked incredible last year. Had to stay consistent, was very consistent except for 1 or 2 weeks. That's all it took. He's very confident about 2024, and he showed it last weekend because, man, that 59 was fast. We saw Adrian Paradise III get a second-place run. He's so close to that first limited late model win. Jeremy Lavoie finishes third. Typical Lavoie fashion, quiet and consistent. And then how about Matt Winter II? Finished fourth, ran third for most of the race, got passed late in the event, fell back to fourth, his best career finish. They were very confident in practice. We'll see if they can keep that going next event.
In the late models, a lot of drama, especially off of turn number 2 and on the back straightaway, but there was one driver that avoided it all and was able to get his first victory in nearly 2 years.
Yeah, Daryl Keene, first win since July of 2022, ended off last year with so much bad luck and a tore-up race car, brought in a brand-new race car for 2024. What a way to start. He said he was a bit lucky, but you know what they say, you'd rather be lucky than good, and he got lucky, but that car was still good, and that's why he went to victory lane after Paul Verrecchio Jr. was black flagged for the contact with Kevin Gambacorta, defending champion, who was leading the event. Gambacorta did a 360, still finished third. Verrecchio lost his chance at a win, looking for that first late model victory, but with how fast that car was last weekend, he's going to be one to watch, not just this Friday, but every Friday.
And while Gambacorta got spun while leading the event, he recovered to finish well in the top 5. There were some other big names not as fortunate.
No, Adam Gray and Tom Butler, two of the bigger names in terms of the biggest wreck probably of the weekend. Those two hit the wall really hard coming off of 2. Thankfully, they're both okay. Very heavily damaged cars. Adam Gray's had that car for a long time. That car's been around for almost 2 decades. That's his first front clip, which is insane.
It is.
But, man, that car was just absolutely tore up. We saw Tom Fern get in an accident in turn 2 after contact with Wayne Corey Jr. A lot of big names having big trouble, but it's week 1. There's maybe one mulligan all year you can have. That might have been their mulligan. They can't afford any more bad luck.
And they say what goes around comes around, and in the SK Modifieds, we saw just that with a brand new winner pulling into Napa Victory Lane when all was said and done.
Yeah, Troy Talman gets it done. His first SK Modified win at Stafford. He's been in that division for several years, and he said it in Victory Lane. Marcello Refrano used them up a couple years ago. Late in the season, Talman gave it back. Race car drivers never forget. And that was proof right there. That's a big win for that 3 team. The family, they've been around a while. They've come close multiple times, just didn't get that what they needed at the end. A lot of runner-ups, couldn't quite get one spot better until last weekend. We'll see if they can keep that up for the rest of the year. I know Marcello wanted to win, but that was his best start to the season in a long time. He finished the race.
He did.
That in of itself is big, but a second-place run, nothing to really frown about in the big picture. He's looking for that championship. Corey DiMatteo pitted late in the race, still went 20th to 7th in the last 11 laps. Todd Owen, defending champion, defending three-time champion, 22nd to 6th. Jonathan Pulio, first race with Chassis Pro, 26th to 10th. A lot of big movers and a very wide field of cars, I think, after the first event. A lot of good competitors. Andrew Moeller, top 5 in his Petty Cash debut. Michael Jarvis Jr. went 13th to 4th, very quietly. But guys like Flannery, bad luck, had issues in the race. Mechanical problems, fell out of the race. Brian Narducci fell out of the race. It happens. The first event of the year always has a lot of attrition, but we'll see what they can do in week 2.
And there were a lot of movers and shakers in the SK Light Modifieds, and unfortunately that enormous 40-car field didn't quite get to halfway. They'll make that event up in just over a week's time, but they'll be back for a fresh start this coming Friday night.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. Those SK Light drivers, man, they put on a show. Tyler Chapman led a lot of it, but in the end, Megan Fuller gave it a shot. They actually made contact right behind us in turn 1. They both hung on to it, but Tyler Chapman was fast, Megan Fuller was fast, Nick Hovey was fast, a lot of good cars, and at least nobody got tore up too badly last weekend. I mean, there were a couple incidents, but nothing major, so we'll see a lot of them come back for week 2, their first full race of the year. A lot of drivers, a lot of people that are hungry for victory, and 20 laps to settle it.
So many storylines in all 5 of our weekly divisions, plus the 52nd NAPA Spring Sizzler 100-lap event. That field's been set now for what will be 13 days when they take the green flag this Friday night. Hope you can join us here in person. Action begins just after 6 o'clock here at Stafford Speedway, and if you can't be here, you can tune us in on Flow Racing.